Welcome to part 1, where we're going to create a single brick. To get started, you will build a single brick model that you will later copy onto points to create the brickified shape. You'll create this shape using a combination of polygon modeling tools. Along the way, you will see how each action you take creates a node in Houdini that creates a recipe of the steps taken to create the geometry. So the first thing we want to do is we're just going to check our preferences here, and if we go to 3D viewports, it's important for this lesson that you use the render OpenGL for your viewport. The default is actually Vulkan, which is sort of in beta right now, so some of the features we need for this lesson are not there. So we need to do OpenGL. So make sure you do that. Once you set that, if you've changed it, you will have to quit and restart Houdini. So if you can go do that. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go File, New Project. And that brings up this window, which we're going to go Brickify Lesson and go Accept. And this will create a bunch of folders, help us organize this project as we move forward to it. To make our first file, we're going to go File, Save As. We're in that directory, and we're going to go Brickify 01. There we go. So once we have that set up, let's start creating something. So in the viewport here, let's just go to the select tool, and then we'll go C, and we're going to go Create Geometry, and we're going to go Box. Now we could click anywhere to place it or press Enter to put it at the origin. Now up at the top here, there are some parameters we want to change. We're going to define its size here as 0.2, 0.2, 0.2, and we're going to change this to 3 tab 2 tab 3. Okay, now if we spacebar F, that will bring that forward, and if we want to set the display to smooth wired shaded, we'll see where the topology lines are. So we've only got one up and down here, but we've got 4 of them there. Now we want to select the faces on this. So the way to do that is to click this button here or to press the hotkey 4. Now what that does, that dives us from the object level down to the geometry level and makes it possible for us to select faces. If we press the Shift key, we can select all 4 of those faces. Now if we press C again, we can go Model, Polygons, Polyextrude. And once we've got that, we can add an inset value. And we're going to 0.04. And that puts that like that. Perfect. Now, if we press the T key, we will go to this Move tool here, which adds its Edit node there. And one of the options are here is if we right-click, we can say Make a Circle. So what was rectangular is now circular. And that's going to help us finish up the shape. So let's press C again. We're going to go Model, Polygons, Polyextrude. And now we start pulling out the sort of nub at the top of the brick. And we probably want to just bring it out 0.05. There we go. Now we want to do the bottom as well. So we want to tumble around. Now we need to select this. And so we have 2 choices. One is we can press and hold the S key, and with Shift we can select all 4 of those, and when we release, we're out of selection. Then we can press the Q key, and what that does is allow us to now get a 0.025, and that brings that in there. And then we're going to press Q again, and we're going to push that up and maybe set that to 0.175. There we go. And if we go to the Select tool and we tumble around, there we go. We've got the beginnings of our brick. Get a different kind of selection. Instead of selection faces, let's press 3, which changes this to edge selection. And we can press N to select everything. Now let's press Tab, Group. And you get a group node here. Notice that everything we've done so far has resulted in a node in the network, and that's going to help us step back and make changes possibly down the line. Now when we've got the group, we've got all the selected items, but we don't want to use those. What we're going to do is we're going to select by edges and use minimum, maximum, and we're going to go 89, 91. And you'll see that anywhere there's a right angle, we have an edge. That's perfect. And what we want to do now is go to the top of this and give this a name. So we're going to call it bevel edges. Perfect. Now let's go back to the select tool. And one of the options here, if we press 9, is to actually select by group. So we're going to literally select by group. And you'll see the advantage of that in a second. So if we now go C, Model, Polygons, we go Polybevel. When we did that, the group that we selected goes into this field here. And what that means is that when I, let's say, set this to 0.006, you'll see that only those edges that were part of that group are the ones being beveled. And that's what we want. Now this is round. Set the divisions to 3. That makes that a little stronger. And there we go. We've got almost finished the thing. So let's go Tab Null. And what that's going to allow us to do is just go into here and call this brick out. And we can set the display flag on that. Now, if we want to get a sense of what this looks like subdivided, one of the things we can do is we can go Shift plus, and that allows us to see a subdivided view. But it'll look a little better if we go up to the object level, and if we turn this to smooth shaded. And there we go. So there we see a single brick subdivided, and that's how it will be at render time. And let's just name this single brick. Okay. So we've got a single brick. There's what it looks like in the viewport. And now what we want to do is make a whole bunch of these to fill a shape. So be back in a second.